What's going on YouTube? This is Jim Afanis, aka Viper Magic, and today I want to talk to you guys about Star Wars Battlefront. Now, I'm really surprised that this game took so long to re-emerge after it was such an amazing franchise back in the day. And if you really think about it, this type of gameplay, this big sandbox shooter game, is still very prevalent in modern gaming. You have all the Call of Duty games and all the Battlefield games, which basically reuse this element year after year after year, and it sells. So why it took so long to get Battlefront back into a rotation of other releases with other games is absolutely beyond me. And we all know with the new trilogy coming out, anything Star Wars is going to sell. It is a very hot commodity right now. Anything Star Wars is going to blow up. So this game is already going to be one of those like triple platinum whatever games. People are going to go nuts for the pre-orders. If they have some sort of collector's edition where you get some replica of the Millennium Falcon or some sort of cool little figurine, you know, people are going to buy it. And it's a license to print money at this point. So I'm glad it is coming back finally. Couple news articles, some announcements have been coming out. Obviously, the trailer was released at the Anaheim Star Wars convention or get together or celebration or whatever they're doing over there. And I'm sure news is going to come out hot and heavy in the next few days. We've learned a few things, though. We've learned that there's going to be no single-player story mode, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I don't want DICE to focus on that. Think about the Battlefield campaigns of the last few years. Were they fun? Maybe. 4 or 5 hours, a little bit of set piece. You get the whole Michael Bay thing going for a little bit, and then you go right back into multiplayer. I will tell you the only reason I played the single-player games on Battlefield on the last couple of generations of Battlefield was solely because certain depending on like the difficulty you beat it on, would unlock guns that you could play in multiplayer. If there was a way I could have earned those guns in multiplayer, I would have. And I didn't even play Battlefield 3's single-player campaign until Battlefield 4 almost launched. That's how long it took. So the lack of a single-player story with all that kind of stuff is fine. I'd rather DICE focus on core gameplay mechanics rather than some hokey story that's going to be very poorly received. And we all know that DICE games have a history of having a rocky launch, so that's kind of a no-brainer to me. The other big piece of news that we learned today was that Battlefront will not use Battlelog, and I am very excited for this. Now, I'll probably end up getting this game on PC because it's the master race, and it's going to look amazing. But we all hate Battlelog. Having a browser interface with the game is fine if it works. But every time the game comes out, you have to change the patches come out. You have to like re-download like hooks and stuff in your browser and little toolkits and all that because you'll try to launch the game and it can't find the executable, or it crashes you out, or Punk Buster fails, or some other crap. The filters don't work. Nobody likes Battlelog. So the fact that Battlelog is going away is amazing. And they've been very tight-lipped on everything over in the Battlefront camp, but they did say that they're working on a new system from the ground up with more details to follow. So obviously, we know that they're working on it. I mean, it's coming out this year. They're on a hard deadline now. They want to kind of sync it into the release of the movie. That's fine. So those two pieces of news both got me equally excited because I was nervous that DICE was going to try to make it too flashy with spend too much time on that single player element, and now they're not going to do that. What I don't want to happen is for this game to be horribly broken on launch, but I think it's going to be. DICE does not have a good track record when it comes to this sort of thing, and whether it's an EA problem or a DICE problem, most Battlefield games, obviously Hardline went to a different developer, but the last couple Battlefield games have been atrocious on launch. And if you look at the parallels between a Battlefield game and the Battlefront game, it's very similar. You're going to have dudes running around on a virtual battlefield fighting each other. You're going to have vehicles. You're going to have different kinds of like troop transports. You're going to have different classes. Sound familiar? Now you're going to get a third person and a first person viewpoint. I'm assuming you can toggle between the two. They've mentioned they're going to be doing some other little things, like you're going to be able to do dog fights, which is very similar again to what Battlefield does with the jets and stuff flying around. And okay, so now I'm getting a little worried here, because a lot of times when a Battlefield game comes out, they're very glitchy and broken. You'll get in a tank and you won't be able to drive, or get in the secondary gunner seat and the turret doesn't work, or it crashes, or there's sound bugs, or that sort of thing. Now, what does excite me, so that part worries me. What does excite me is that DICE is notoriously amazing for doing world-class sound events, and all the sounds in the game are actually player-generated sounds. There's no like soundtrack in the background of random machine gun fire or anything like that. This is actually going to be, everything you hear, I'm hoping, is going to be from the game. So that's going to be amazing. Hearing all the blasters and all that stuff go off in the background, that's going to be really, really cool. Now, I hope that DICE focuses on the core gameplay elements and doesn't get too flashy with other stuff, because let's face it, if this game was simply a rehash of an old game with a prettier graphics engine and better sound and maybe a little better interface to jump in and out of games with our friends, it would be perfect. It would be a multi-trillion-dollar blockbuster. Everyone would go nuts for it. But I understand they want to push the envelope. They're probably going to tie in some elements from the new movies. They're already talking about some free DLC that hooks into certain battlefields in the movies and that sort of thing that we haven't even seen yet, which I think is great, and it's a grand scale of thinking about things. But keep it simple, please. Just make the core game work. We can get into all the DLC and all that crap later. That's a battle for another day. But having a game on launch that comes out with servers that can handle the insane load this game is going to have, with character models that work and don't bug out, and with vehicles and all these other sort of things that tie in together that sell the Star Wars experience, you're going to have a really good time. When you start having issues like you did on Battlefield, you're going to lose people's attention right away. And I will admit, even though I'm going to go bananas for the collector's edition, whatever it is or isn't, I'm not expecting to play this game on launch because I think it's going to be broken. Diablo couldn't get it done. SimCity couldn't get it done. I mean, how many more are there? There's thousands of games that have come out on launch that are just broken. Star Wars is a different crowd. It's going to be people who aren't even into shooters but are into Star Wars just because they want to play the game. So there's a very big target on your backs, DICE, and I hope to God you can pull it out. I know I'll be rooting for you. And you're going to have my money the second you guys come out on E3 and announce whatever you're going to launch, because I'm just that guy who's going to buy it. So for everybody watching, I'm curious what you guys think. What are you thinking about Battlefront as the news comes out? Are you excited for it? Do you not care? Is there too many other great games? Or are you just a die-hard Star Wars fan and you're going to get this hell or high water? All I can say is, don't be disappointed when the game comes out on launch and it is broken. I'll reload, or I'll link back to this video on launch and I'll say I told you so. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please do me a favor. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thanks for watching. And until next time, I, in the E-Walking Dead shirt that I got from Loot Crate, will see you guys on the other side.